What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? Today, we're going to meet the 2025 NFL Draft Class for the Washington Commanders, who are the players they selected, and we're going to break them all down tonight. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, you won't regret it. Now let's go ahead and get into today's video. So, the Commanders 2025 NFL Draft just wrapped up. Day 3, we had 3 picks. It was the most, productive day because we had more picks. Day 1, 1 pick, and day 2, 1 pick. Obviously, we'd like to have more picks, and I would have liked to trade back, but Adam Peters didn't see a partner, and he wanted to take the players that he wanted to take. So, I guess let's start with Josh Conerly Jr., the 29th overall pick in the NFL Draft for the Washington Commanders. Adam Peters said that he had trade offers, and that he didn't take those trade offers because of, the value that Josh Conerly brought at 29. He said he heard that other teams wanted him at like 11, or he could go in the top 15. And so he said that Josh Conerly Jr. was clearly the best player on the board for them, and it was a no-brainer. He also showed a note that Cliff Kingsbury left on his desk that said, "Take the Oregon tackle," which is Josh Conerly Jr. I love this pick, and I think that when the Giants get guys like Abdul Carter, right, with the 3rd overall pick, when the Giants get guys like Jahad Campbell and Antoine Powell-Ryland, when they got those guys in these drafts, you have to combat with that, and they combated with that with Josh Conerly Jr. Not to mention the Cowboys got Donovan Ezaraku, and I think they might have got another edge rusher, but I forget who it was, and they already have Micah Parsons. So I just think that, it is pivotal that you have to put up with these defensive linemen for 6 games this year throughout the whole division. So you have to combat with that, and they took Josh Conerly Jr. to combat with that. They traded for Laramie Tunsil. So this O-line is stacked, and the projection right now for the O-line is right tackle Josh Conerly Jr., left tackle Laramie Tunsil, left guard Brandon Coleman or Nick Allegretti, center Tyler Biadasz, and right guard, it could be anyone, but once Sam Cosmi comes back, he'll be the right guard, but for right now, I don't know who that would be. So we get Josh Conerly Jr. with the first pick. That's a home run, right? He's 21 years old, and he has a baby face. He's going to be a great player for a long time. He brings you good value at 29. I like the first overall pick. I would grade the 29th pick, Josh Conerly Jr., an A+ for this group. Adam Peters made a great pick there. With the 2nd overall pick for the Washington Commanders in the 2025 NFL Draft, this was number 61 in the 2nd round. We took Trey Amos, cornerback out of Ole Miss, and I love this pick. Adam Peters said that Trey Amos, they were considering taking Trey Amos at 29, and they got him at 61. That's tremendous value. Trey Amos is a guy that's going to be able to slide to the outside. He's going to be able to kick Mike Sanderstill back inside. You have Marshawn Lattimore and Trey Amos on the outside. This also gives you great depth at the cornerback position. So I love this for the Commanders. We're putting a whole lot of hope into Marshawn Lattimore being really good this year. He's only getting older. He has dealt with a lot of injuries, and he's probably not going to play many games this season. So if, Marshawn Lattimore happens to, leave the team after this year, you would have a solid replacement in Trey Amos. But for this year, we know it's going to be Marshawn Lattimore and Trey Amos on the outside. You can kick Mike Sanderstill back inside. You have Noah Igbenogany on the inside. You have Jonathan Jones on the inside. So I love this depth. And not to mention, Trey Amos is a speed demon. He's one of my favorite corners in this draft, and I think he is a dog. He had 3 interceptions last year. He is a really, really good player out of Ole Miss. I would give this an A+ for the Washington Commanders. PFF graded this. They said it was an A+, and they said it was one of the best picks in this draft in the 2nd round. The Washington Commanders did not have a 3rd rounder. We didn't trade back anywhere to get into the 3rd round, which is kind of sad, but we didn't have a 3rd rounder, and we just basically said, okay, we'll wait till the 4th round and we'll get the guys we need in the 4th round. So they waited till 128. They waited all the way till 128. It was sad seeing all these players come off the board with good value, but They waited till 128 and they took Jaylen Lane, a wide receiver out of Virginia Tech. Now, this guy is a speed demon, and he's a slot guy, but he can go vertically down the field and beat you with his speed. His ability to, catch the ball and run after is absolutely insane. His yards after catch ability is awesome. He is one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft for the second tier guys. Obviously, the first tier guys, like Matthew Golden, those type of guys, Tet McMillan, the first tier guys, they're obviously way higher. But Jaylen Lane, when you can get him at 128, that works. And he's a speed demon. He ran a 4.3 at the combine. He is a great wide receiver. And I think that he fits the Commanders, a little bit of a need at wide receiver. I don't know if I would call it a need or not, but I'll call it a need for now. He fits the Commanders' want of a wide receiver, in need of a wide receiver, and he gets Terry McLaurin, a weapon, and Jaden Daniels, another weapon. You're just adding so much speed to this offense, and you really make this offense electric with the Jaylen Lane pick. I am a big fan of this Jaylen Lane pick. I love that the Commanders selected Jaylen Lane with the 128th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. So Jaylen Lane was at 128. We had to wait hold on. Let me go back to 128 a little bit. We could have taken DJ Giddens here. We could have taken Braden Swinson here. You could have filled more of a need in a running back or an edge at that position. At pick 128. And while I would have been in favor for that, I mean, you do get a home run guy in Jaylen Lane. He can be really good in this league. Maybe you could have traded back and added more picks. I will say that I kind of was hoping for Braden Swinson there. If Jack Sawyer would have fell to us, I don't know what would have happened, but Dylan Sampson went right before us. But DJ Giddens or Braden Swinson there would have been a good choice. But I don't have a problem with Jaylen Lane. I think it's a steal in the draft. He was supposed to go a little bit earlier. So, on to the 205th pick in the NFL Draft. It was what's his name? It was the linebacker out of UCLA, Kaine Medrano. Yeah, Kaine Medrano, linebacker out of UCLA. Kaine Medrano is such a good player. I mean, this guy is just so fast. He ran the fastest time for a 40 for linebackers in the NFL Combine. He had 3 forced fumbles last year, and he is going to be able to get you interceptions, forced fumbles, turnovers at any position. And he had, I believe he had, 3 interceptions and 3 forced fumbles last year for UCLA. He ran the fastest 40 at the combine. This guy is electric, and he's just a white linebacker, middle linebacker with speed, and he's going to be able to replace Bobby Wagner whenever he leaves. And he also puts good depth at the linebacker position. You have Jordan McGee, who should, be filling in a few years, as we drafted him last year. At the linebacker position, you have Jordan McGee, and then you add Kaine Medrano out of UCLA. I love that pick so much. It's not necessarily a need, but it is, a good pick for them, and it's kind of just best player available. So Kaine Medrano at 205. The final pick that we just made, the 245th pick in the NFL Draft, was none other than Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, running back out of Arizona. I love this pick. Okay, a lot of people were saying go with a kicker, or go with Gabe Taylor as safety, and I wasn't in favor for any of those. I don't want a kicker at 245. While kicker is a need, and we need a guy to be able to, kick the ball, I feel like you can find one of those at the end of the draft. Or not at the end of the draft, undrafted free agents. You can find one from UFL teams. So I think we don't waste a pick on a kicker. We get an explosive running back in Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and I love that pick because he's a guy that was supposed to go way higher in the NFL Draft, but he actually only played 4 games last year due to ineligibility issues. He was supposed to go way earlier. He's kind of a steal. Now, could we have gotten him undrafted? Maybe, but I like the pick, 245, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. It was their guy. They worked him out multiple times. He's going to be the electric, game-changing running back that you need. I don't know if he's necessarily going to take over at the running back position this year, but you also added Josh Conerly Jr., so this is going to help all the running backs. This is going to help Austin Eckler. This is going to help Brian Robinson and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. So, we can use all 3 backs effectively. So, do we necessarily need a big running back once we got Josh Conerly Jr.? So, But I like the pick of Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I think it was a solid pick, and I think that he provides much value. He's going to be a guy that is going to be pretty good in the NFL. I could see him after like 9 to 10 games just kind of taking over the run game here if he has a productive season. And so I think it's just a good pick. It's a solid value pick. You get your value there. I'm just glad they didn't take a kicker or like Gabe Taylor. Like, I'm so glad they didn't do that because I don't want a kicker at 245. Don't waste a draft pick. Like, it would be one thing if they had 6 or 7 draft picks or even 8 like the Patriots did. The Patriots took Andres Bergalis, kicker out of Miami. It'd be one thing if they had that many picks, but you don't have that many picks to work with. So let's get, a need at running back. They did not fill out the edge position in the draft. Za'Darius Smith, Matthew Judon, Von Miller, sign them to 1-year deals, and you can put them on the roster for a year. And then next year, you have to draft an edge rusher. Maybe you trade for one at the trade deadline. But I just feel like, we had to come out with an edge rusher there. You have options in free agency. You have undrafted free agents. So I guess you don't have to come out with an edge rusher, but there was options. They did pass on Braden Swinson. They did pass on a few of the edge rushers. At 61, they did pass on Donovan Ezeraku and Mike Green at 29. So I'm not trying to put them out there, but I'm just saying that they did pass on guys like that, but I'm fine with it. I like what Adam Peters is doing. Chef Peters cooked up. You got to trust Adam Peters. Might not have been the best draft ever, but we got to trust Adam Peters. It's only his second year. I'm happy with what they did in this draft. I think that it was perfect. Well, not perfect, but it was good. They added some solid players. We got better this weekend, folks, and that's all we wanted to do. We got better this weekend. So, I feel like it was a good draft. All right, I'll give the draft an A. Mainly because I'm not going to give it an A+ because you didn't come out with an edge rusher, and that's your biggest need. They did come out with a solid cornerback, though, and an offensive tackle, and they really made this team better this weekend. I like the additions from Adam Peters. He really shows his effectiveness and his professionalism. He's not a baby. We don't have babies running this front office anymore. I like the picks from the draft. So just to put it in review, Josh Conerly Jr., A+, Trey Amos, A+, Jaylen Lane, A, what's his name? Kaine, I can never remember this guy's name. Kaine Medrano, linebacker, UCLA, B-, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, A+. So I'll give the whole draft, though, an A- for me. They didn't come out with an edge rusher, okay? But it was a solid draft, and they got some really good players in this draft. I can't wait till next year's draft. That was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed, all the content this week. I did a bunch of live streams for like 5 hours, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you guys would hit the like button on this video and hit that subscribe button. So that was the 2025 Washington Commanders draft class. You had Josh Conerly, Trey Amos, Jaylen Lane, Kaine Medrano, and then you had Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt to fill it out. Really, the only needs left is an edge rusher. Let's go get one in free agency or an undrafted free agent. I'm fine. I'll trust Adam Peters through this process. I love this draft. I thought it was a great draft. Let's just go win some football games now, right? We got Jaden Daniels some help, some weapons, some protection. It was a good draft. It was, awesome to see the 2025 NFL Washington Commanders. We got better this weekend, and we made the most out of this weekend. So I hope you guys enjoyed the draft. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. Hail to the Washington Commanders. As always, those are your 2025 Washington Commanders draft class picks. See you guys in the next one. Have a great night. I enjoyed the draft. I hope you did too. Peace.